The Tokyo Upset. More than 40,000 fans filled the Tokyo Dome on February 11, 1990, expecting to see the undefeated heavyweight champion continue his run. Mike Tyson entered the ring 37-0 with 33 knockouts and the WBC, WBA, and IBF titles. 24 of those knockouts had come inside 5 rounds, and his previous 4 opponents had not made it past the 5th. James "Buster" Douglas was introduced as the challenger. He entered as an underdog, and the expectation inside the arena was another early knockout. But the foundation that had shaped Tyson's rise was no longer intact. Cus D'Amato, who had guided his development and built the system around him, had died in 1985. By the time Tyson arrived in Japan, the discipline and oversight that once defined his camps were gone. A heavyweight title defense typically required 6 to 8 weeks of structured training. Reports from Japan suggested Tyson's serious preparation lasted only a few weeks. In the days before the fight, he was staying up late in his Tokyo hotel suite with multiple women. He later admitted he underestimated Douglas. During camp, he was reportedly dropped in sparring and brushed it off. Douglas prepared on another level. His mother had died 23 days before the fight. He was fighting in her memory. He trained seriously and entered the ring at 231 pounds. When the bell rang, Douglas stepped forward and established the jab immediately. It landed clean and often. Tyson moved in his familiar crouch, but the head movement was less sharp than during his peak years. Instead of slipping outside the jab and pivoting into angles, he advanced in straighter lines. Douglas doubled the jab and followed with right hands down the middle. By the 3rd round, Douglas was releasing full combinations, 3 and 4 punches at a time. Tyson absorbed more of them than he once would have. He still fired hooks when he closed distance, but the combinations were shorter and the resets slower. In the 5th round, Douglas landed a right hand that caused severe swelling over Tyson's left eye. Between rounds, Tyson's corner realized they had forgotten to bring an end swell, a standard metal tool used in professional camps to reduce swelling. They filled a latex glove with ice and pressed it against the eye. The swelling continued to worsen. Douglas kept jabbing directly into it. In the 8th round, Tyson slipped inside and drove a right uppercut through Douglas's guard. Douglas fell heavily. Referee Octavio Mayrin counted. Douglas rose at 9, although many thought the count was too slow. In the 10th round, Douglas returned to the jab and then drove a right uppercut straight up the middle. A left hook followed, then another right hand. Tyson fell hard to the canvas for the first time in his professional career. He searched for his mouthpiece, stood unsteady, and failed to beat the count. First Holyfield fight. On November 9th, 1996, at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas, Mike Tyson defended the WBA heavyweight title against Evander Holyfield. Just 4 years earlier, Tyson had been convicted and sentenced to prison. He served roughly 3 years, was released in March 1995, and his return to boxing became one of the biggest stories in sports. The comeback was immediate. Tyson stopped Peter McNeely in his first fight back and then defeated Buster Mathis Jr. In March 1996, he knocked out Frank Bruno to regain a version of the heavyweight title, and 6 months later, he stopped Bruce Seldon in the first round to capture the WBA belt. By the time he faced Holyfield, Tyson was 45-1 with 39 knockouts. Many believed the time away had hardened him. The pay-per-view numbers were massive. The aura that surrounded him in the late 1980s appeared restored. Holyfield, 34 years old, had lost twice to Riddick Bowe and had been stopped in their 3rd fight. Some viewed him as worn down. Tyson entered as the clear favorite. From the opening round, Holyfield stood his ground. He jabbed into Tyson's guard and did not circle away. When Tyson stepped inside, Holyfield pushed back with his shoulders and forearms. The exchanges were physical immediately. In the 2nd round, Holyfield landed a short left hook and right hand that caught Tyson clean. Tyson reset instead of attacking. Holyfield continued stepping forward. Head clashes followed during exchanges. Tyson complained to referee Mitch Halpern, but the pattern continued. Holyfield leaned in, forced contact, and tied Tyson up after combinations. By the 5th round, a clash of heads opened a cut over Tyson's right eye. Blood ran down his face. Holyfield kept jabbing and stepping into him. When Tyson tried to explode with hooks, Holyfield absorbed the first punch and answered back. In the 6th round, Holyfield landed a right hand that visibly hurt Tyson. Tyson backed up along the ropes. Holyfield followed with controlled combinations. Tyson survived the round, but was no longer dictating the pace. As the fight moved into the later rounds, Holyfield continued pressing forward. Tyson's bursts grew shorter. The clinches favored Holyfield. He forced Tyson upright and worked inside before tying him up again. In the 11th round, Holyfield landed a right hand that snapped Tyson's head back. He followed with a series of punches along the ropes. Tyson covered up but absorbed clean shots. Holyfield stepped in with another right hand and left hook. Tyson staggered. Mitch Halpern stepped in and stopped the fight. Fight. 7 months after being stopped in 11 rounds, Mike Tyson stepped back into the ring with Evander Holyfield. The rematch took place on June 28, 1997, at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas. The first loss had disrupted Tyson's comeback from prison and dented the sense of inevitability that once surrounded him. After the first fight, Tyson publicly complained about headbutts. He argued that referee Mitch Halpern had allowed Holyfield to lead with his head inside. For the rematch, Mills Lane was assigned as referee. Tyson entered 45-2 with 39 knockouts. Holyfield entered as champion. From the opening round, the exchanges were physical again. Holyfield stood his ground and jabbed into Tyson's guard. Tyson tried to work inside with hooks, but the clinches were immediate. Heads came together early. Tyson reacted each time, looking toward Lane for intervention. In the second round, a clash of heads opened a cut over Tyson's right eye. Tyson stepped back and complained. Lane warned both fighters, but did not penalize Holyfield. The pattern continued. Holyfield pressed forward. Tyson's combinations were shorter, and he appeared tense between exchanges. Midway through the third round, Tyson pulled Holyfield into a clinch. As Lane moved in, Tyson leaned forward and bit Holyfield's right ear. Holyfield jumped back and shouted. Blood ran down the side of his head. The fight paused while officials examined the damage. A piece of cartilage was found on the canvas. After several minutes, the bout resumed. Later in the same round, Tyson bit Holyfield again, this time his left ear, during another clinch. Lane immediately stopped the fight and disqualified Tyson. In the weeks that followed, the Nevada State Athletic Commission revoked Tyson's boxing license and fined him $3 million. He was ordered to undergo a psychiatric evaluation before being considered for reinstatement. He did not fight again until January 1999. Lennox Lewis. On June 8, 2002, Mike Tyson faced Lennox Lewis at the Pyramid Arena in Memphis. Tyson entered the fight 49-2 with 43 knockouts. He was 35 years old. Outside the ring, his situation was unstable. He had filed for bankruptcy protection earlier that year, listing debts that reportedly exceeded $20 million. Lawsuits and financial disputes surrounded him. The fight with Lewis had already been delayed after a press conference brawl in January, during which Tyson lunged at Lewis and later bit him on the leg as security intervened. Lewis entered as the WBC, IBF, and IBO heavyweight champion and recognized lineal champion. He was 36-1-1 with 31 knockouts. He stood 6'5" with a long jab and a disciplined style. Many analysts viewed the matchup as dangerous for Tyson, who had not faced a fighter of Lewis's size and structure since his prime years. From the opening round, Lewis controlled distance with the jab. He kept Tyson at the end of his reach and tied him up when Tyson closed space. Tyson tried to slip inside and fire hooks, but Lewis leaned on him in clinches and forced him upright. In the second and third rounds, Lewis continued landing the jab clean. Tyson's head movement was less consistent than in his earlier career. When he attempted to rush forward, he was met with straight right hands. Lewis did not retreat recklessly. He stepped back just enough to reset distance. By the fourth and fifth rounds, Tyson's forward pressure slowed. Lewis began mixing in uppercuts when Tyson dipped forward. In the sixth round, Lewis landed a right hand that staggered Tyson briefly. Tyson survived but was absorbing clean shots. In the eighth round, Lewis landed a short right hand, followed by a left hook that dropped Tyson to one knee. Tyson rose before the count of 10. Lewis pressed forward. In the eighth round's final minute, Lewis landed a straight right hand that sent Tyson flat onto his back. Tyson tried to rise, but his legs gave out beneath him. The referee counted him out. Danny Williams. 2 years after being knocked out by Lennox Lewis, Mike Tyson returned to the ring to face Danny Williams. The bout took place on July 30th, 2004 at Freedom Hall in Louisville, Kentucky. Tyson entered with a 50-4 record and 44 knockouts. Danny Williams entered 31-3. He had been stopped before and was not considered among the division's elite. Tyson remained the bigger name and the betting favorite. From the opening round, Tyson showed flashes of the old explosiveness. He slipped inside and landed sharp hooks to the body and head. Williams gave ground early but stayed composed. Tyson's attacks came in short bursts, followed by resets. In the third round, Tyson injured his left knee. He later said he felt it give way during an exchange. After that moment, his movement changed. The lateral shifts were reduced, and he looked slower. Williams began stepping forward more confidently in the middle rounds. He jabbed and forced exchanges. Tyson still landed isolated hooks, but the combinations were shorter and less frequent. The defensive head movement that once defined his style appeared limited. By the seventh round, Williams was throwing in higher volume. Tyson absorbed more punches than he once would have. He clinched more often. The pace increasingly favored Williams. Williams had been dropped earlier in the fight and had risen without panic. As the rounds progressed, he appeared stronger. Tyson's output continued to decline. In the eighth round, Williams drove Tyson backward with a series of punches. Tyson went down near the ropes and struggled to rise. He beat the count, but looked unsteady. Moments later, Williams landed another right hand that sent Tyson down again. Tyson stood once more. After the restart, Williams forced him backward with another combination. Tyson went down a third time, and the referee stopped the fight. Tyson lost by technical knockout. Kevin McBride. Mike Tyson fought Kevin McBride at the MCI Center in Washington, D.C. in June of 2005. Tyson entered 50-5 with 44 knockouts. He was 38 years old. Since the 2002 loss to Lennox Lewis, Tyson had fought only once before this bout, the stoppage defeat to Danny Williams. In interviews during this period, he spoke openly about losing his passion for boxing. Training camps no longer carried the same intensity as earlier in his career. Kevin McBride entered 32-4-1. At 6'6", he was taller and physically imposing, but not considered among the division's elite. From the opening round, Tyson showed brief flashes of hand speed. He slipped inside and landed hooks to the body. The attacks came in short bursts. McBride tied him up quickly and leaned on him in clinches, forcing Tyson to carry his weight. Tyson's head movement was minimal compared to his prime. As the rounds progressed, Tyson's output declined. He threw single shots rather than combinations. After exchanges, he paused instead of resetting into rhythm. McBride jabbed steadily and leaned on him again in clinches. In close, he used his size to press Tyson backward. By the fourth and fifth rounds, Tyson's pace slowed noticeably. His feet were flat. He absorbed more punches than he returned. McBride began stepping forward with greater confidence. In the sixth round, McBride drove Tyson back with straight punches and tied him up along the ropes. Tyson's responses were isolated and brief. The exchanges favored the larger fighter. At the end of the sixth round, Tyson returned to his corner and remained seated. He told his trainer he did not have it anymore. When the bell sounded for the seventh round, he did not come out. The fight was ruled a technical knockout victory for Kevin McBride. In the post-fight interview, Tyson said,
"Did you want to continue?"
Well, I would like to continue, but I saw that I was getting beat on. I realized I don't think I have it anymore because I got the ability to stay in shape, but I don't got the fighting guts, I don't think, anymore. I'm just sorry I let everybody down. I just don't have this in my heart anymore.
Thanks for watching. Check out the links in the description to shop for pro boxing gear.
Wow.